morning, everyone. Today, last two classes, I covered benign breast diseases. Today, we'll start with carcinoma of the breast. This is very important regarding theory aspect and as well as clinical aspect also. So, we will be giving as 10 marks question, carcinoma of the breast. Regarding the epidemiology, it's the most common in Western world. Usually affects 1 in 12 women. So 3 to 5% of all deaths in the women. Second most common carcinoma in the females in India. Then what is the first most common carcinoma in females in India? It is the oral cancers. So this carcinoma of the breast really constitutes 19 to 34% of all the malignancies. Coming to the risk factors, they classified as slight to moderate risk, moderate to high risk, and very high risk. Under slight risk, the various risk factors are obesity, alcohol, hormonal replacement therapy, nulliparity, early menarche and late menopause, florid hyperplasia, solid duct papilloma. The various risk factors under moderate category: age greater than 60 years, atypical ductal hyperplasia or atypical lobular hyperplasia or lobular carcinoma in situ. Any history of ductal carcinoma in situ. If there is a cancer on one side of the breast, it is also one of the risk factor. Under very high category, if there is any previous history of therapeutic irradiation to chest, family history of breast cancer in first 2 degree relatives, any history of family history related to breast and ovarian cancers, BRCA1 and BRCA2, BRCA1 and BRCA2 mutations, or first degree relative with mutations. So in relation to obesity, nulliparity, early menarche, late menopause, the main etiology in this case is hyperestrogenemia. There is any history of cancer on one side of the breast, there is 1 to 2% chances of contralateral breast cancer. Regarding the syndromes related to breast cancer, main 2 syndromes are Li-Fraumeni and Cowden syndrome. So various constituents in the Li-Fraumeni syndrome are, it is an autosomal dominant, various sarcomas, leukemias, brain tumors, and breast cancer. In Cowden syndrome, constitutes cutaneous facial lesions, bilateral breast lesions, gastrointestinal polyps, brain tumors, and thyroid tumors. The carcinoma of the breast is usually, it is a systematic disease. According to the Fisher concept, it is early to begin with itself. There is a distant blood spread because of micrometastasis without the nodal disease. The latest concept is Hellman spectrum concept. It's a new one. In this, the disease spreads locoregionally as well as systematically. Regarding the current nomenclature of breast cancer, divided into ductal and lobular carcinoma, which in turn divided into in situ carcinoma and invasive carcinomas. Under in situ carcinomas, which does not breach the basement membrane, also called non-invasive type. So these two comes under this category, that is ductal carcinoma in situ and lobular carcinoma in situ. Regarding the invasive type, invasive ductal carcinoma and invasive lobular carcinoma. Among all these types, which is the most common type? Invasive ductal carcinoma. Regarding the ductal carcinoma in situ or intraductal carcinoma, it is the pre-invasive type which does not invade the basement membrane. The 5 main histological types under ductal carcinoma in situ are solid, comedo, cribriform, papillary or micropapillary type, and clinging type. Among all these 5, comedo and papillary forms are the most common type. Regarding the invasive ductal cancer, divided into subtypes, invasive ductal with no special type constitutes nearly 70%. Rest of all the tubular constituting 2%, colloid constitutes 2%, medullary form 5%, invasive cribriform 2%, invasive papillary form, adenoid cystic form and metaplastic constitutes nearly 1% respectively. So regarding the lobular carcinoma in situ, usually originates from ductal terminal duct lobular unit. It is 3 to 5% common, usually bilateral and multifocal. It is important point, remember, it is usually bilateral and multifocal. High chances to predispose to the invasive cancers. In this lobular carcinoma in situ, 35% of LCIS may develop into invasive lobular carcinoma, but 65% may develop into invasive ductal carcinoma. Okay, 35 lobular and 65% constitutes ductal carcinoma. So this invasive lobular carcinoma usually accounts of about 10% of breast cancers. The 5 main categories that is subdivided under this type are classical, solid type, alveolar type, mixed type, and pleomorphic type. Among all these forms, the classical have the very good prognosis, but pleomorphic variant have the very worst prognosis. It is often bilateral and multifocal also. Small notes on breast self-examination. What is the main role? The major role in breast self-examination for early detection and intervention of breast cancer. Usually done once a month. In premenopausal people, usually done after the menstruation, and in case of postmenopausal women, usually we will done once a month. We will fix one date. So according to the date, we will do once a month regularly. In case of nursing mothers, it should be performed after feeding the baby. Okay. Next, it is the diagrammatic representation for breast self-examination. So it is usually done once a month, usually after menstruation in the premenopausal ladies. So the breast, examine the breast and the armpit with raised arm. This is the best position for examining the breast. Usually we will examine the breast with the use of finger pads with massaging oil or shower gel during taking bath. And various types of methods for examination, up and down method, in the wedge pattern like this, in circular pattern, coming from upper outer quadrant, upper inner, lower inner, and lower outer quadrant, then finally coming to the central quadrant. These 3 are the various types of examining the breast. So, and we can also observe the breast in front of the mirror for any presence of lumps or any asymmetrical present in both the breast or any skin changes that can be seen. Okay. Last one is the nipple deformities. Any color changes or any leak from the nipple discharges we have to observe. This is regarding the breast self-examination. Then what is triple assessment? So in any patient who presents with breast lump or any other symptoms, if there is any suspicious of carcinoma, we have to do the triple assessment. This is nothing but it's a combination of clinical assessment, radiological imaging, and tissue sampling. Come again. This is the combination of clinical assessment, radiological imaging, and tissue sampling. So this is the chart representation of triple assessment. Under clinical, we will see the age of the patient and we will examine clinically. Under imaging studies, we will do ultrasonography less than 35 years. If the age of the woman is greater than 35 years, we will go for mammography. Under histological study, we will do the fine needle aspiration cytology or screw cut biopsy, core needle biopsy also, we can call it as. So from this triple assessment, confident diagnosis in 95 to 99% of cases. Okay. Regarding the clinical features in the breast carcinoma, the first most common presentation of the people is lump in the breast, which is very hard and painless. In 10% of cases in carcinoma of the breast, pain may present. So, second most common presentation is nipple discharge, usually bloody discharge. If there is any skin ulceration and fungation, if there is any axillary lymph nodal enlargement or supraclavicular lymph nodal enlargement is present. Other clinical types that can be seen if the patient has distant metastasis. Suppose in carcinoma of the breast, if it spreads to the lungs, patient may present with chest pain and hemoptysis. If they spread to the bone, they may be present with bony pain, tenderness, and pathological fractures, usually osteolytic. So bone is the most common site to be metastasized. The first most bone to be presented with lumbar spine, next femur, next thoracic spine, next ribs, next skull. In sequential order, they can metastasize. Then if pleural effusion, lungs related, if it spreads to the abdominal organs like liver, ascites, patient may present with ascites, liver secondaries, or it can spread to the ovary, secondary ovarian tumors. What are the various cutaneous manifestations regarding the carcinoma of the breast? Pudor orange, the first most presentation, the pudor orange. How it can occur? Mostly due to obstruction of dermal lymphatics, due to obstruction of subdermal lymphatics. Then dimpling of the skin is due to infiltration of ligament of Cooper. Retraction of nipple is due to infiltration of lactiferous ducts. There is any skin ulceration, discharge from nipple areolar complex. There is any tethering to the skin. And one more cutaneous presentation is cancer incuracy. That is nothing but skin over the chest wall and breast, studded with cancer nodules. See, these are the diagrammatic representations. The first one, huge breast lump occupying all the quadrants with nipple retraction and pudor orange changes and mild ulcerative lesions. Okay. In the second picture, it is the dimpling of the skin due to the ligament of Cooper involvement. Then second most common presentation clinically bloody discharge through nipple areolar complex. See, here it is through multiple ducts. See, this is the skin ulceration with fungation. In these type of cases, we will do prophylactically toilet mastectomy. So this is the skin changes called the cancer encruracy, studded with nodules, both breast and the chest wall, breast and as well as the chest wall. Post-operative cases. Okay. Coming to the imaging modality regarding the breast cancer. In breast cancer, the main aim is to extend the capability of physical examination, either to provide more information about palpable abnormalities or detect the smaller impalpable abnormalities. The first mode of investigation mainly ultrasonography. So it gives the information regarding particularly useful in young women with dense breast with age less than 35 years. From ultrasonography, we can differentiate whether it is solid or cystic, and using ultrasonography, guided interventions can be done. And we can also access the lymph nodal assessment. And in ultrasonography, the solid masses, it can be further evaluated on shape, margin, orientation, echo texture, etc. See, this is the malignant breast mass with irregular margins with hypoechogenicity. Okay. Regarding the mammogram, divided into screening and diagnostic type. Overall sensitivity in mammogram is 79%. Regarding the specificity, it is 90%. So already I showed this diagram in the previous classes. This is the mammogram machine. We use like this unilateral breast examination. We will press the breast. It is a little bit painful procedure. In case of regarding screening mammogram, according to the American Cancer Society guidelines, in 40 to 44 years of age group, it is choice with the woman. Between 45 to 54 year age group, it should be done annually, once in a year. If it is greater than 55 years of age group, every 2 yearly we have to screen the woman. Regarding the diagnostic mammogram, the various indications are evaluation of palpable lesions with the age group greater than 35 years. If there is any history of significant nipple discharge or any skin changes, and to identify the multicentricity. Okay, what is multifocality and what is multicentricity? Breast is usually divided into 4 quadrants: upper outer, upper inner, lower outer, lower inner. Okay, if the breast lump is present more than one in a single quadrant, that is called multifocality. If it is more than 2 quadrants, if they are present, that is called multicentricity. So follow-up in treated patients and of opposite side of the breast also we can do the mammogram. So what is mammography? So the average breast dose per view, usually 2 views of each breast we will be taken, that is craniocaudal view and mediolateral oblique views. So the average dose per view, it is 1 to 2 milligray. See in this picture, this is craniocaudal. This is medial lateral oblique positions. left and the right. So from this mammogram, we can tell about the lump and unpalpable lesions and about the nipple retraction, many microcalcifications that are present regarding the skin changes we can also see. So the various findings that you will see in my mammogram, the microcalcifications, presence of microcalcifications itself signifies the malignancy. The size and location of mass lesions, the lump in the breast. So various types of speculations, any duct distortions, all these are the features of malignancy. Soft tissue shadow may be smooth, round or oval and regular in benign form, but it is irregular in the carcinoma. See in this type, this is malignant mammogram, malignant lump. So this is the speculated, okay, speculation. So these are microcalcifications in case of malignancy. But in the case of benign lump, it is the lump with smooth and well-defined margins. See various shapes that you will see in mammogram. Round, just I missed the whole one. See, this is lobulated type, lobulated. Okay, this is irregular margins in mammogram. Next slide. See, this is regarding margins. Circumscribed, obscured. You see, keen observation, it is microlobulated. Very ill-defined margins. This is speculated form. See, this is speculations. So, what is BIRADS? BIRADS is nothing but breast imaging, reporting and data system. I am repeating once again, breast imaging, reporting and data system. So in this type, the main 6 categories are present. Just remember students, this category type. Okay, there is no need of all this information to be remembered under undergraduation level. Just remember the categories. 0 category needs additional imaging or prior examinations. Category 1 is negative, 2 is benign, 3 is probably benign, 4 is suspicious, 5 is highly suspicious of malignancy. In this case, there is a likelihood of cancer greater than 95%. So 6th category, it's already proved one. So known biopsy proven. To be remembered, 4th is suspicious, 5 is highly suspicious. So highly suggestive of malignancy. 2nd, 3rd is benign condition. 1st one is negative. Okay. So once again, I am repeating that is BIRADS, breast imaging, reporting and data system. So regarding fine needle aspiration cytology, very useful in diagnosing the carcinoma of the breast. Ultrasonography guided FNAC can also be done in case of non-palpable lesions. The sensitivity of FNAC is 90 to 98% and its specificity is 98 to 100%. So see, this is the fine needle aspiration cytology needle. I will explain in detail the procedure. Usually, we will use the 23 gauge needle for aspiration. For this, already I showed you a special gun called aspiration gun. First, we have to hold the lump very firmly. Then the needle should be passed into the lump with negative pressure. Continued aspiration should done until we will get the adequate material. The suction pressure should also be maintained. 40 centimeters of water should be created into the syringe. Finally, the material that is collected should taken on a slide and a smear should be prepared by using 100% alcohol. For these procedures, what are the stains that you will use? Various stains: Giemsa, Peplin Cola, Hematoxylin, and eosin stains. So in this FNAC procedure, minimum 6 aspirations should be done. You can repeat the FNAC for at least twice. Means further 2 times we can do. So minimum 6 aspirations it required. And repeat FNAC can be done for further 2 times. The various advantages in fine needle aspiration cytology: less pain, it can be done on OP basis, it is cheaper and reliable. Main advantage: malignant deposits, usually it will not occur along the tract, that is needle tract, fine needle aspiration cytology tract. The various disadvantages regarding the fine needle aspiration cytology: it gives only cytological diagnosis. So it cannot differentiate. It's very difficult to differentiate between in situ and invasive breast cancer by FNAC. From FNAC, the receptor study cannot be done, like ER, PR status, like estrogen receptor, progesterone receptor, HER2 new receptor studies cannot be done by FNAC study. Okay, remember students, in FNAC the main disadvantage is receptor study cannot be done, gives only cytological diagnosis, difficult to differentiate between in situ and invasive breast cancer. Regarding true cut biopsy, also called core cut biopsy, it is usually the method of choice at present, gives the clear histological evidence and also differentiates the in situ and invasive form. This true cut confirms the ductal carcinoma in situ. So receptor studies, status of the tumor can be known by true cut biopsy, like ER/PR status and HER2 new receptor status also. Usually allows proper neoadjuvant and primary chemotherapy. What is neoadjuvant chemotherapy? The chemotherapy that is given before the surgical procedure for downstaging the disease is called neoadjuvant. Okay. In FNAC, commonly we will use 23 gauge needle, but in true cut, very wide bore gauge needle like 14 to 18 gauge, spring loaded needle is used. See, this is the true cut biopsy needle. Spring loaded one-handed operation. So this is graduations over the needle that are present. From this we can decide the depth. Okay. This is the tip. So multiple punctures are needed usually during this procedure. Actually, FNAC is an OP based procedure, but it's true cut. In the true cut biopsy, it is also an OP based procedure, but we will do under local anesthesia. But it also requires multiple punctures over the lump, and ultrasounded guided biopsy can also be done. The various types of core biopsies that we can do: vacuum assisted core biopsy, stereotactic guided core biopsy, wire localization surgical excision, wire localized surgical excision. These are the various modes of core biopsies. Regarding the indications, various indications for breast MRI. Screening for women at high risk for breast cancer. These high risk categories already I covered before. Then preoperative staging of newly diagnosed breast cancer, both ipsilateral and contralateral, to evaluate the effect of neoadjuvant chemotherapy. Okay. Evaluation of implants. This is important. Evaluation of implants to know occult primary breast cancer, any suspected local recurrences. So, to be remembered, screening and for evaluation of implants regarding MRI. The workup for invasive carcinoma along with complete blood counts, platelet count, liver functional test, chest X-ray, sonomammogram, diagnostic mammogram, and we should know about estrogen receptor and progesterone receptor status, HER2 new receptor status also. Abdominal ultrasonography to evaluate if there is any metastasis. Suppose if there is an elevated alkaline phosphatase levels, that is any abnormal liver functional test. So in case of stage 3 and 4, we have to go for CT or MRI. If there is any symptoms, localized symptoms with elevated alkaline phosphatase in stage 3 and 4, bony scan should also be done to know the presence of metastasis. Coming to the TNM classification and staging. What is TX? This is primary tumor cannot be accessed. Primary tumor cannot be accessed. For example, any post-operative cases of breast cancer. T0 is no evidence of primary tumor. What is TIS? Carcinoma in situ or Paget's disease. Under T1, what is T1? A breast lump with size 2 centimeters or less than 2 centimeters in dimension. Under T1, subdivided into T1A, T1B and T1C. Under T1A, it is 0.5 or less in dimension. Under T1B, more than 0.5 but less than 1 centimeter. That is between 0.5 to 1 centimeter in dimension. 1C is between 1 and 2 centimeter in dimension. T2, tumor greater than 2 centimeters but not more than 5. That is between 2 and 5 centimeters. Students, remember in T1 just at least remember 2 centimeters or less than 2 centimeter. But T2 is between 2 to 5 centimeter. T3 is more than 5 centimeter. Okay. What is T1? 2 or less than 2. T2 tumors between 2 to 5. T3 tumors greater than 5 centimeters. Then T4 tumor is of any size greater than 5 centimeter, of any size with direct extension to either chest wall or skin. Again subdivided into 4A, 4B, 4C, 4D. What is 4A? Extending to chest wall. What is 4B? Purely involvement of skin like edema, including pudor orange, or purely skin means any ulceration of the skin of the breast or any presence of satellite nodules confined to same breast. What is 4C? Both 4A and 4B constitutes 4C. Regarding 4D, inflammatory carcinoma of the breast. Clear? Next, nodal status. The regional lymph nodes. What is NX? The regional lymph nodes cannot be accessed like previously operated. Means they may be removed. So in such cases, we cannot access the lymph nodal status. Then what is N0? No regional lymph node metastasis. N1, metastasis to ipsilaterally axillary lymph nodes. Metastasis to the same side axillary lymph nodes which are mobile. Under N2, subdivided into 2A and 2B. Metastasis 2A is metastasis to the ipsilateral axillary nodes but fixed to one another, matted, or to other structures. The main difference between N1 and N2A, both are ipsilateral lymph nodal involvement metastasis, but in N1 they are mobile, N2 they are matted to one another or to the surrounding structures. Okay, is it clear? Then regarding N2B, metastasis only in the clinically apparent ipsilateral internal mammary nodes. Then under N3, subdivided into 3A, 3B and 3C. Under 3A, metastasis to the ipsilateral infraclavicular lymph nodes. 3B is metastasis to ipsilateral internal mammary and axillary lymph nodes. 3C is metastasis to the ipsilateral supraclavicular lymph nodes. Okay. See, N1 ipsilateral axillary lymph nodes which are mobile. N2A is ipsilateral axillary nodes which are matted together. But the main difference between 2B and 3B is in 2B, involvement of ipsilateral internal mammary nodes, but 3B is ipsilateral internal mammary, along with that axillary lymph nodes also involved. Okay. Regarding the distant metastasis in TNM classification, MX, the distant metastasis cannot be accessed. M0 is no distant metastasis clearly. So M1 is presence of distant metastasis. So this stage grouping is very important to you. Stage 0, TIS. So TIS means carcinoma in situ and Paget's disease. N0, M0. Stage 1, T1, N0, M0. Okay. What is T1? Tumor size with 2 cm or less than 2 cm. T2 is 2 to 5. T3 is greater than 5. T4 is involvement of chest wall and skin. Regarding 2A, T0, T1 and N1 or T2 with N0. 2B is T2, N1, M0, T3, N0, M0. 3A is T0, T1, T2 and N2 or T3 with N1 or N2 with M0. This 3B means T4 with N0, N1 or N2 with M0. 3C is any T with N3 is called 3C. 4 is any T, any N with metastasis. Okay. It is clear, obviously. M1 means metastasis. It's a final stage, stage 4. Remember stage 3, NET with N3. This is the only stage where third level is involved. Okay, remember like this. Small notes regarding the sentinel lymph node biopsy. What is sentinel lymph node? So nothing but the first node to receive the lymphatic drainage from the site of primary tumor. Okay, defined as the first node to receive the lymphatic drainage from the site of the primary tumor. Suppose if sentinel lymph node biopsy is positive on frozen section, then we have to do complete axillary dissection. Suppose if during the procedure, if sentinel lymph node biopsy is negative on frozen section, no need for further dissection of lymph nodes. The main problem in this procedure is it gives false negatives between 5 to 10%. Clear? What are the various indications in sentinel lymph node biopsy? The first main indication is clinically it should be node negative disease. Clinically node negative disease. Then only we have to do sentinel lymph node biopsy. It is very important, students. Clinically node negative disease. Nodes should not be involved clinically. Okay. And one more indication is sentinel node team should be available, like surgeon, with combination of surgeon, radiologist, nuclear medicine physician, and as well as the pathologist. And should be history, there should be a history, no prior irradiation to radiotherapy or no prior history of chemotherapy. Okay, then only we have to do sentinel lymph node biopsy. These are the three main indications. The first main indication is clinically the patient should be nodal negative. What are the various contraindications regarding the sentinel lymph node biopsy? If there is any history of prior mastectomy, any history of prior axillary dissection, or any history regarding prior sentinel lymph node biopsy. Suppose if there is palpable lymph nodes, it is contraindicated for sentinel lymph node biopsy. And other contraindications like prior excisional breast biopsy, T3, T4 inflammatory breast cancer stages. Next, in male breast cancer, it is purely contraindicated. If there is any history regarding multicentric and multifocal disease. So, all these are the various contraindications to the sentinel lymph node biopsy. See here the various diagrammatic representations of various techniques. Various techniques means all are sentinel lymph node biopsy techniques only, but the procedures are different. Usually this blue dye technique and then radiocolloid technique, these two techniques I will in detail I will explain. These are novel methods. We will image the lump with the help of optical imaging camera and magnetometer. These two are the new techniques. So in detail, so the various detecting methods for sentinel lymph node. First one is the blue dye method. Usually relies on the visual detection of the blue stained sentinel lymph nodes. Second type of method is detecting method, radioisotopic technique. Usually locates the sentinel lymph node by using the gamma probe. for detecting the radiation that is emitting from the radioactive tracer, usually accumulated in the sentinel lymph node biopsy. So you'll give the blue dye either in the periareolar or peritumoral. Then with the help of this gamma probe, we will detect the sentinel lymph node. Similarly, in place of gamma probe, nowadays we can also use optical imaging camera or magnetometer also. So what are the various tracers that you will use for sentinel lymph node biopsy? Blue dye, either lymphazurin or methylene blue. Remember methylene blue. Detected by visual inspection only. Regarding the radioisotope, technetium labeled sulfur colloid you will use, which is detected by gamma probe. Nowadays we are present gold standard is dual dye technique. That is, we can use both blue dye and technetium labeled sulfur colloid. But in this case, false negative rate is less than 5%. See, periareolar injection, the tumor quadrant. If it is an isotope intradermal, if you have to give the blue dye like methylene blue, we can give subdermal like this. Periareolarly, we have to injecting the isotope intradermally. Regarding the side effects with methylene blue, anaphylaxis, and with colloid, radioactive material is injected. So material needs to be stored. It should be handled very carefully and should be injected very carefully. It has to be disposed carefully. The main problem is its availability. Inconvenience is also one of its drawback. Need to be injected 3 to 4 hours before the procedure itself. Okay. So today I will end this session. Regarding the treatment, I will cover in the next class. Any doubts, students? Carcinoma of the breast is 10 marks question to you. Risk factors, classification, current nomenclature, and treatment. Treatment means both investigations and treatment included. One thing I forgot to tell you. Suppose if a patient present with multiple lumps in the same breast, then we have to consider the lump with the largest size. We have to give the TNM staging to that large size breast lump only. Suppose if the opposite contralateral, the patient presents with both breast bilateral breast lumps, we have to give separate staging to both right and left breast. Suppose if a patient presents with lump in the right breast and with nodes both axillary, both right axilla and left axilla, and supraclavicular node involvement comes under metastasis. Okay. One student is asking about, can invasive and non-invasive carcinoma can be differentiated by any radiological methods? By ultrasonography, usually it cannot be much differentiated, but by MRI, we can use the MRI. Next. Radiologically, first we have to do ultrasonography followed by FNAC. Remember, if you do FNAC followed by ultrasonography, false results can come. Age, if a patient comes with the age greater than 35 years, through mammography, it can be differentiated, whether invasive or non-invasive type. Best diagnosed by MRI only. Any doubts? Okay, students, I will end the session.